Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. And 2008, I still remember clearly that day. The sky in Garut was so blue. The sun softly sweeping the vast schoolyard. Little I like adventure, ready to start a new journey. I stepped into the gate of SD Persis Tarogong, a word that was foreign but at the same time promising a million stories. On my shoulder, my school bag hung heavily, full of books that I still smelled new. I looked right and left looking for a familiar figure. And there, among the crowd of children who were chatting happily, I saw my older sister, who was already in grade 4. There was a sense of comfort seeing her there, as if I was not completely alone in the adventure. The first day is always full of mixed feelings. There was joy, a little fear, and of course, when was a curiosity that continued to tickle. I was directed to the classroom, and as I sat down, I was immediately introduced to one of the subjects that would often color my day in the future, mathematics. My homeroom teacher at this time, Mrs. Eka, a woman with a warm smile and soft but firm voice. He wrote a number on the board, explaining calmly while I tried to understand this new world I was living in. The numbers, the straight and curved lines incorrected seemed like a puzzle that I had to solve. And the day passed quickly. I began to get used to the rhythm of school, meet new friends, and become more comfortable with the environment that I was had initially left wagon. However, behind the routine that I was starting to know, there was a big event happening in my life, something that would later become one of the most precious memories of my childhood journey. June 4, 2008, that day felt different. There was anxiety in the house. There were more frequent whispers, and there were hopeful eyes from both of my parents. I was too young at the time to understand all the detail, could only go with the flow. When my mother had to go to hospital, I was left home with my grandfather. There was something special, a strange feeling in my heart, a question that kept speaking in my mind, but I could not find the answer. Time passed slowly, is if the holding my breath, waiting for the something, the big news, important to happen. I sat in the living room, playing with my favorite toys, while my grandfather occasionally stroked my head lovingly. I waited, and waited until finally the door of the house opened. My mother, afraid, and beside her, there was someone I didn't know. Her body was tiny, wrapped in soft cloth. Her face was red like a fresh apple, and her eyes were tightening closed as if she was still reluctant to go to work. I don't know that. I approached with a heart full of question. The curiosity in me divided all the feeling of awe, darkness. I looked at my mother, her eyes sparkling with happiness that was difficult to describe in the word. I lifted my face, looked at her earnestly, then asked, "Who is this?" Mother smiled, lowering her head singly so that he could look me in the eyes. He sighed. "This is your little sister," she said in a soft voice. "Little sister?" I frowned, trying to digest the information. "I have a little sister?" I, who had always been used to only having the older siblings. Oh no, it's amazing. No had accepted the fact that there was someone new who would become part of love little family. I approached, staring at the tiny face with a tickling curiosity. Her hand were very small, like first that were just learning to understand the word. I wanted to touch him, to feel the warmth of the figure called a little brother. However, there was something that made me hesitate, maybe a strange feeling, or maybe a little awkward, because I feel like This was my first time dealing with a newborn today. So baby, since that day, my life changed. I was no longer just a child who was busy with school and playing, but also an older siblings who had new responsibilities. My day is elementary school felt increasingly different because now every I came home there was a little figure waiting for me at home. I began to get used to the quiet that suddenly filled the room, to the smell of baby powder that always looks again and flavored the air, and to the simple happiness of seeing the little smiles as they began to learn about the world around him. My first day of school and the first day my little brother, my little sister was born into the world, and two moments I happiness and that are always closely tied in my memory. Both were the beginning of a new journey, a colorful beginning which brought lesson about courage, the warmth of family, and how beautiful is the in accepting someone new for my family into our life. Now, when I remember this day, I smile to myself, realizing that behind every small step in life, there is always a story waiting to be told uh, myself again. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time again.